Hello there, phenomenal leader. Welcome to Take the Lead, a consciousness movement with Angilie Kapoor. Now, this is a show where each week we help you become one with the rhythm by stepping into your potential. Now, how can you do that, you might be asking? Well, by embodying your inner phenomenal leader and taking the lead of yourself and in your own life. I am your host, Angilie Kapoor. I'm also a conscious leadership coach, a best-selling multi-book author, inspirational speaker, as well as the founder of my leadership coaching company, Oversight Global, where myself and my amazing team are on a mission to address the consciousness crisis in the world, one leader at a time. Now, today we have another amazing guest joining us today. I am super excited at what we'll be exploring in our discussion on rewiring parenthood for growth, where we'll be exploring the profound impact of conscious parenting and how this approach can catalyze personal growth, boost confidence, and instill worthiness in children, fostering a harmonious and empowering family dynamic. Now, I have a feeling this is going to be a great conversation, so be sure to stay right there. You don't want to miss this. Now, I am super excited because the latest book that I am a part of, Jim Britt's Cracking the Rich Code, just recently launched on Tuesday, June 18th, and it became a #1 international bestseller in 24 hours. Now, I am so honored and privileged to be featured co-author with 20 other top entrepreneurs and success strategists, along with Jim Britt himself, one of the world's top influencers, coaches, and speakers. The book is endorsed by none other than Tony Robbins, with the foreword written by the legendary Brian Tracy. Media outlets such as NBC, ABC, Fox, and CBS have all run stories on their website about the book and its recent launch. So be sure to go to our website, www.oversightglobal.com, and scroll a bit down on the website to find the book purchase link. You can also click on the QR code that's on the bottom right of your screen now to go directly to the book sales page as well. So trust me, you will absolutely love this book. My chapter is chapter 6, by the way. Okay, so as you may well know by now, the premise of this show, Take the Lead, a consciousness movement, is to help you recognize and embody what I call your inner phenomenal leader, your true, authentic self that you are truly meant to be, to help you uncover the power that you have within to step into your potential and contribute to the world as only you uniquely can. Now, to do this in a fun way on this show, we look at the parallels of couple dancing like salsa and ballroom dancing with leadership development concepts to help you become the leader of yourself and in your own life. Now, like I mentioned, today we're going to be discussing and exploring the profound impact of conscious parenting and uncovering how rewiring parenting approaches can catalyze personal growth, boost confidence, and instill worthiness in children, fostering a harmonious and empowering family dynamic. Now, salsa, ballroom, and couple dancing share striking parallels with leadership in the context of conscious parenting. Just as a dance requires harmony, communication, and trust between partners, conscious parenting involves fostering strong connections, effective communication, and mutual respect within the family unit. By rewiring traditional parenting approaches to prioritize growth, confidence, and worthiness in children, parents can cultivate a nurturing environment that mirrors the dynamics of a well-coordinated dance. Now, this shift towards conscious parenting not only empowers children to flourish, but also strengthens the parent-child bond, creating a harmonious and empowering family dynamic where each member of the family feels valued, supported, and encouraged to reach their full potential. And with that, what are your thoughts or questions on my monologue today? Let me know by emailing me at admin@oversightglobal.com. catchy tune, right? Now, that, folks, was our commercials for our newly redesigned company website at oversightglobal.com, as well as our new speaker website, angeliekapoor.com. Now, I'm super excited that both of these sites are finally up and out there in the world. So be sure to go and check them out at the links that are on your screen now. Okay, so let's get to our featured guest spotlight. So, Dr. Anjum Saba is a keynote speaker, educator, coach, and the founder of Conscious Connections Hub. Now, as a passionate educator and graduate from Dr. Shafali's Conscious Coaching Institute, Dr. Anjum Saba is a dynamic motivational speaker dedicated to helping individuals embrace their authenticity and design their own destiny. Specializing in empowering women, Dr. Anjum Saba is a self discovery and conscious parenting coach who is on a mission to catalyze personal growth by boosting confidence and instilling a sense of worthiness with a unique approach that includes rewiring the brain. Her inspirational story is engaging and relatable. She guides individuals to embrace their authenticity by helping them connect with their true self, as she firmly believes to change what we see on the outside, we need to change who we are on the inside. Now, phenomenal leaders, without further ado, please help me welcome to the show Dr. Anjum Saba. Dr. Anjum, thank you so much for being here today. I can't tell you how excited I am for a conversation on conscious parenting.
She unmuted herself.
Absolutely, Anjali. It's pleasure to be here with you. It's amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, before I forget, we will be periodically displaying Dr. Anjum's contact information and social media platforms. So, if at any time you feel called to check out more information on what she does and how she might be able to help you, please be sure to go to those platforms, follow, and connect with her. So, I think a great place for us to start would be really kind of defining what conscious parenting is versus traditional parenting approaches. So can you help us kind of define that?
Definitely, Anjali. Conscious parenting is all about the energy, the dynamic that you bring in your parent child relationship.
Hmm.
So it truly revolves around that energy, the energy which speaks about how are you connecting with the world around you, how are you connecting with the loved ones around you, your children around you. What is the awareness that you hold in that given moment?
Hmm.
Because most of it comes from our childhood, the experiences that we had in our childhood, who we
Okay.
have become as an adult, and everything gets transformed onto our children based on the experiences we have had as children. So it becomes very imperative as parents to understand and to bring awareness about the kind of energy that we are holding in that space. So,
Hmm.
conscious parenting is all about creating and evolving to the level of consciousness where you become aware of your thoughts, your patterns, your energies, right? Because
Right.
most of it gets programmed and we relive the same dynamics with our children.
Hmm.
Whereas traditional parenting talks about child needs to be fixed, child needs to be controlled, child needs to be micromanaged, and we believe that we as parents we are perfect, we are greater. And there's always been this hierarchical pattern of parenting where most of the cultures happen to follow the same type of parenting where we feel it's either our way or the highway,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So that's what the traditional parenting is all about. And as you rightly said in the introduction, it's a dance, right? It's a dance
Hmm.
where we need to synchronize with each other. So conscious parenting teaches that we are equal partners. The parent and the child is an equal partner. So it is a symbiotic dance. It is non linear. It has to be
Hmm.
that circular. So it gives equal opportunity for the parent and for the child to grow and evolve together. In fact, conscious parenting offers us a beautiful opportunity to evolve as parents, because it is our children who awaken us, because
Hmm.
they take us back to our childhood from where we have come. So,
Right.
if we really look through the right lens, we understand that our children are our true awakeners.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So it sounds like what you're saying is that it's really about when you enter becoming a parent, you're really entering into a position of authority, into a position of influence. And, from how I approach things when it comes to leadership, when you enter a position like that, it's really where, that my motto kind of comes into play of you can only lead others as effectively as you lead yourself. So you really need to become conscious and aware of really who you are as a parent so that you are able to effectively parent your child. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. It becomes very important for you to understand who you are from the inside. Like I
Hmm.
said earlier, we carry our emotional baggage from our childhood. So there is lot that gets rooted subconsciously. So
Hmm.
basically, we live what we learn. So, day in, day out, we are just repeating our patterns. We are nothing more than the patterns. So, it really becomes important for you to dig a little deep on your inner landscape to see what healthy patterns do you have and what unhealthy patterns do you have, and how
Hmm.
is this impacting my relationship with my child. Is it building that harmonious connection, or is it creating some kind of dysfunction between me and my child? So
Right.
it is true that we have to lead ourselves, and unless we don't really explore our inner landscape, we will never be able to understand our child's inner landscape.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So, what if somebody is watching this and they're thinking, well, I feel like I was raised in a good way and my parents were raised pretty well and, my grandparents and things like that. So, what if they're watching this thinking, so what is wrong with the traditional approach of parenting and why should I consider conscious parenting?
Definitely, and that's a beautiful question, Anjali, because we all feel that, right? We
Hmm.
have been raised, our parents have given us everything, and we are leading a beautiful life. So, what's wrong in the traditional form of parenting?
Right.
Well, what I can say about this approach is you will not realize that until unless you grow on the level of consciousness, how
Hmm.
different it is being a conscious parent from being the being the traditional parents, right? And there is no blame game here, because our parents did the best that they could in their level of consciousness and to
Right.
what they knew in that given point in time.
Hmm.
Now, I say what's wrong in evolving your consciousness to another level to see if there is a better way. No doubt, we all have grown into beautiful adults. There's definitely no doubt. But there are these wounds inside of you that have deeply taken root, right?
Hmm.
And these wounds are definitely from our childhood, with without our parents being conscious about it.
Hmm.
Okay, and anything that gets triggered inside of us is because of these wounds that carry. We always feel it is our children who trigger us, but no,
Hmm.
triggers are never on the outside, triggers are always on the inside. So if you have had that kind of a childhood, it's beautiful, but
Hmm.
we all have to heal those wounds. It becomes very important because we start communicating, we start reflecting, and we start pouring out everything on our children based on these zones. If I have to give you an example, well, my parents are educators as well.
Hmm.
Okay, and I was grown in this very strict family where academics was everything. Okay, academics meant everything. So I had this tremendous pressure as a child to perform, to score those grades and things like that. But as I grew, and as I grew and when I became a parent, I thought to myself, I'm not going to do this to my child. I'll give
Mhm.
him the space for him to do what he really can do. There will not be any kind of pressure on him. He will perform at his space. This was on my conscious level.
Mhm.
Okay, when I really had to cope this with my child when his exams came up, I used to get very anxious about it. Has he prepared well? Has he prepared enough? Will he be really be able to do good in his exams and things like that? Why?
Mhm.
Because this is deeply rooted inside of me. It's become my subconscious. It's become a pattern in my DNA. As human beings, we live our life 95% on the subconsciousness and only 5% on the consciousness.
Mhm.
So it becomes so important for you to understand what really goes on your subconscious level. What patterns are you reliving without you being aware of it? So you
Mhm.
see, while I had this as a subconscious programming inside me, I couldn't help but to express this anxiousness to my child. So I used to be like, no, you got to do this, you got to do that, you still have to finish this much, you still have to finish that much. So unconsciously, I'm reliving everything that I have had during my childhood, all the same experiences.
Mhm.
It gets very easy for us to be on the conscious level and say, okay, let me not do this, let me not do that, I'm going to be like this, I'm going to be like that. But since this is so deeply rooted, your awareness is something that can help you understand these subconscious patterns.
Okay. So I think
So,
what
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
So it's important for you to know and for you to differentiate what kind of impact the traditional parenting can have and what kind of impact that conscious parenting can have. Because
Mhm.
traditional parenting, we usually want and mold our child to our whims and fantasies. Okay, we don't let them be the individual who they are. We don't see our children for who they truly are, but then
Mhm.
everything comes from the patterns that we hold inside of us. But conscious parenting gives you that spaciousness to explore, to see what's really happening inside of you if there is a trigger, and how you can take care of it even if your child is not performing. You are seeing why the child is not performing, so you're going beneath the behavior of the child to understand what's really happening on a deeper level.
Right, right. I think what something that might be a little bit confusing for people watching is us using the terms conscious and subconscious. So, can you kind of explain to people what that is and, kind of how this kind of plays into parenting approaches?
Definitely. Consciousness is something that we do based upon the intellect, right? The intelligence that we hold inside of us, the conscious mind, which thinks, which decides, which is there in this moment, right?
Mhm.
Subconscious is something where we do it automatically. It is an automated process. Say, suppose you have been driving to a particular destination day in, day out. You know the route so well that you don't even have to give a thought about it. You
Mhm.
automatically drive onto that route without thinking, is there, I mean, like, without even giving a thought. You know that there's going to be a signal here, there's going to be a hump here, because you've been programmed to drive on that driveway for a very long period of time, so that
Mhm.
you don't really need to give a second thought about it. That
Right.
becomes your subconsciousness, right, where you are
Mhm.
doing things on the automated process. And I believe we are biological robots. We are biological robots because we live most of our life based on the programming and conditioning that has happened during our childhood,
Mhm.
which becomes your subconsciousness.
Right, right, right. But that we can change our subconscious. We can change our neural
Absolutely.
pathways and our mindset and our behaviors and patterns, correct?
Absolutely. And why this happens is because 0 to 6, 7, 8 years, the child brain is mostly subconscious. Child is majorly on the subconscious level. There
Mhm.
is no filter between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is yet to develop, and the subconscious mind is predominant during these formative years. So
Mhm.
anything that happens during these years becomes like a strong bond inside the child. So these are the years where the child tends to form its identity, habits, anything and everything that you tell your child becomes a fact. And that remains in their subconsciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, as I said, there is no filter between the consciousness and the subconscious mind. So a child can really not distinguish what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is false, or what is positive and what is negative. So
Right.
anything that you say to your child becomes a fact for them. So we really need to watch ourselves. What is it that we are pouring into our child's mind during these formative years?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely, the type of environment that they're in, the other type of people that are in their lives influencing them. So yeah, definitely, I agree with you there. So, as a graduate from Dr. Shafali's Conscious Coaching Institute, how has that experience really influenced your approach to coaching and guiding parents on what their conscious parenting journey looks like?
Oh, that is definitely a game changer in my life, Anjali, because it's been a roller coaster ride for me. Being a
Mm-hmm.
dentist and then to becoming an educator. I graduated as a dentist because my mom wanted me to become a doctor. So you see,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time we are trying to leave somebody else's idea and we think
Right.
that's who we are. So when I was practicing as a dentist, although I was practicing under a reputed maxillofacial surgeon, I realized that I did not belong here. So I was quick to shift my gears and I started my preschool, believing that, education is something that I'm very passionate about. Why? Again, because I've seen my parents being educators. So I thought that's who I am. So
Mm-hmm.
you go back to the same pattern. As I said earlier, we live what we learn. So it was the same cycle that was probably continuing in my life. Everything was beautiful until pandemic hit us. I thought I was very successful as an educator because we had about 1,000 plus students who graduated by the year 2019, where I started my preschool in the year 2011. So when
Mm-hmm.
pandemic hit, we had to sit back at home due to lockdown, and I was so occupied with this identity as an educator. Sitting back at home doing nothing was kind of driving me crazy. I really couldn't handle this emptiness that I felt on the inside. And this started reflecting on my relationships. And the worst hit was my relationship with my child. And every day the challenges with him grew. And I think we as parents think and take things for granted with our children. We feel it's okay for us to dump anything and everything, all our frustrations, all our irritations. And I'm sure you will not behave the same way with your partner or with anybody else who is an adult. But as children, we take them for granted and we feel it is okay. So that's what really happened between me and my child. And my son, being a very strong headed boy, he did not really take that from me. He stood for himself. So that's where the quest began. I was a very obedient child to my parent, and whatever they said was done for me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that was not the case between me and my child. So I really had to understand what parenting is. That's when the quest began, and I started browsing net to see if I could get some quick fixes or banded solutions. Although multiple solutions were available, nothing really worked between me and my child. There was some piece that was really missing in the puzzle. And of course, we all love our children. There's no doubt about it. I loved him
Mm-hmm.
so much that at some point I started feeling like a failure as a mother. But that love is really not enough. It doesn't really suffice. I mean, the needs, the demands that a child holds.
Mm-hmm.
And as universe has its own way to align things for us, it did the same. I stumbled upon Dr. Shefali's Conscious Coaching Institute. And when I look back at it, I can say it was the best decision, one of the best decisions of my life, because this course not just changed my perspective about life and relationships, it also taught me a profound truth, which I believe that, to change what we see on the outside, we really need to connect with who we are on the inside. So when you do that, you are giving an opportunity for yourself to be who you truly are. You are being your authentic self without wearing any kind of mask, or without the need for you to feel validated on the outside, without the need for you to feel or want to feel belonged, because we all want to feel belonged, and that's where we give up our authenticity as children. So
Mm-hmm.
when you give that opportunity for yourself, you're also giving opportunity for your children to be who they truly are.
Right.
You are helping them embrace their authenticity.
Hmm.
And this causes a ripple effect for all the future generations to come.
Right, right. Yeah. So basically, you're saying being a role model and example for your children. And that, again, really starts with you.
Yeah, it absolutely starts with us because, as Dr. Shifali says, we really need to raise ourselves before raising our children.
Yes.
Raise yourself with respect to consciousness, with respect to awareness, the patterns, the thoughts that you carry within yourself. Everything matters so much, and it becomes so, so important for you as a parent to bring that to your conscious mind.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So, the other thing that I wanted to ask you is so, in your work as a conscious parenting coach, what are some key strategies that you recommend for parents to help their children connect with their true selves?
Okay, the key strategy is what I would say is being mindful. You have, we are so occupied that our mind is full most of the time. We are not being mindful, but we
Hmm.
are being mindful, right? In today's day and age, I believe most of us are living on steroids. There's so much of stress, there's so much of anxiety that's filled inside ourselves. There is no space for us to sit, pause, and reflect. So, the moment you bring this in your life, when you learn to pause, when you learn to reflect, when you take time to understand your triggers, you are giving a huge opportunity for your children to connect
Hmm.
because you come from a place of non judgment. You start looking at children beyond the behavior that they are projecting in that given time and space. So, while
Right.
you are able to do this, you're also helping your children to connect with themselves, with their true selves,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
you are a role model for your child. I had such a atmosphere because every time it used to be a very reactive atmosphere whenever there was a conflict. So screaming,
Right.
shouting, yelling was a norm. Okay, that's how we learned how to resolve a conflict. We didn't have better means, right? As
Hmm.
children, when we see our parents, we all have disagreements in our life. There's no doubt about it. So whenever my parents had this disagreement, all I could see was screaming, shouting, and yelling. It was the
Right.
same thing that gets reflected as parents with our children also. So when there is a disagreement between a parent and a child, all you need to all you do is scream, shout, and yell,
Hmm.
right? So in that moment, what happens is there is a huge dysfunction that gets created between you and your child, and your child
Hmm.
moves further away because they feel rejected, they feel not seen, they feel not heard. And
Right.
ultimately, this brings about a great disconnection between you and your child. So,
Hmm.
when you become mindful, when you become aware of your breath, when you try to stay in the present moment by cultivating the habit of mindfulness, you're providing this beautiful opportunity not just to connect with yourself, but you're being a role model to help your child understand how they can connect with themselves.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's great. So, how about some practical tools or exercises that you recommend to parents looking to enhance their conscious parenting skills and communicate better with their children?
The one mantra is connect before you correct,
Hmm.
right? That's a beautiful way for you to really have this bond, this love, this harmonious relationship with your child. So, what I can say is, whenever there is a trigger, practically what you can do is become aware, consciously become aware of your breath. You
Hmm.
have to understand that there is something happening on the outside which is triggering me right now. And when you explore that, and when you become aware of your breath, and when you bring yourself in the present moment, it changes the game altogether.
Right.
And when you do that, you will also provide the space for the child to be who they are.
Hmm.
Okay, so first, detach yourself from the external circumstance, come into yourself, become aware of your breath, become aware of your landscape. And when you become aware of your breath and when you come into your landscape, see if you are able to or if you are ready to have that communication with your child, ask yourself, am I ready for this? And
Mhm.
also, it is important to see if your child is ready for that communication. If not, take a back step. There's no hurry. You don't really have to fix everything in that moment. You can always come back,
Right.
right? So take a
Mhm.
step back, move out of the situation, see if you can take 10 steps or take 10 deep breaths, realign with yourself. And if you're ready, and if you feel your child is also ready to have that communication, come back to it and validate your child's feelings and emotions. That's really important
Mhm. Yeah,
for what
sounds
they have felt. Yeah, validate it. So when you try to validate and when you try to see the things from the perspective of your child, you're creating a great attunement between you and your child. You're
Mhm.
also helping your child to learn empathy because you're empathizing with your child's feelings and emotions. And then see how best can you come up with a solution for what has gone wrong.
Right. Right. Yeah, that sounds
Because
great.
you really cannot treat, or you cannot have emotion and logic going together. Your
Mhm.
child is emotional, and if you're trying to be logical, trying to help your child understand this is the right thing, that is the right thing, you said this, you said that, your child is not going to get it.
Right.
Rather, if you are also coming from the emotional level where you say, yes, I see that, I know this was difficult for you, I know what I spoke has hurted you, or probably you didn't like, I understand that, it changes the game and it changes the dynamic altogether.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for that. So, we only have a few minutes left. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers on conscious parenting?
Well, what I would like to really put across is mothers. I mean, it's lots that you take care of day in and day out. Okay, we are basically multitaskers. We are a wife to a husband, we are a mother to our children, we are probably a daughter-in-law to our in-laws, daughter to our parents. So there's so much as mothers that we hold on to ourselves. And when
Mhm.
you're doing so much, it becomes very imperative for you to take care of yourself as well. And we are never there on to-do list. We never prioritize our needs. We never prioritize things that we would love to do. I would suggest start doing that, start prioritizing yourself. Self-care is not selfish, it is something sacred that you can do for yourself. Why? When you take care of yourself, when you are full from inside, it gets very easier for you to pour into others cup. So whatever you tend to do with compulsion, with frustration, with irritation, becomes out of love, out of care, out of the beautiful bond that we share with them.
Mhm.
So please take care of yourself. Find some time in your day to day schedule where you get to relax, where you get to breathe, where you get to do something that enlightens you, that empowers you, that uplifts you. So don't let that light dim inside yourself. Because ultimately, you're being a role model to your children. So they look up to you day in, day out, how you carry yourself, what you do, what you don't do. So take care of yourself.
That's great. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjum. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of your insights with us. I really appreciate it.
It's pleasure, Anjali. Thank you for having me. I really hope this message reaches out to all these beautiful parents. Just know that you guys are doing a great job. There's nothing right or wrong about parenting. It's just that we got to be better parents by being conscious. So let's embrace conscious parenting in our life.
Sounds great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Now, I am so excited that we have launched our new premier transformational coaching experience, Mental Lead. Now, unlike traditional leadership development programs, Mental Lead emphasizes internal growth and self leadership as the cornerstone of effective leadership growth and development. Now, I've spent the last 2 years meticulously crafting Mental Lead, drawing from the insights I've gained from my own journeys in the healthcare industry and as an entrepreneur, as well as from guiding other workplace managers, leaders, coaches, and various entrepreneurs. Now, central to the program is my tested and proven 5-step coming into your inner leader process. And that includes steps such as the awareness phase, consciousness journey, mindset transformation, conceptual shifts, and skill set enhancement, as well as the 4 components we've identified as being crucial for personal transformation. They are a proven strategy and process, acquiring the proper tools, having the right guidance, and being in an environment conducive for growth and success. Now, participants of our Mental Lead transformational experience will embark on a transformative journey, discovering their inner phenomenal leader and learning to lead themselves to success and fulfillment. My philosophy is grounded in the belief that effective leadership stems from mastering self leadership and tapping into one's extraordinary power. So don't miss this opportunity to unlock your fullest potential. Go to our website now for more information. And there you have it, beautiful souls. As this episode of Take the Lead, a consciousness movement with Angilie Kapoor comes to a close, I want to thank my guest, self-discovery and conscious parenting coach, Dr. Anjum Saba, once again for joining us on the show today and for exploring with us the profound impact of conscious parenting and how this approach can catalyze personal growth, boost confidence, and instill worthiness in children, fostering a harmonious and empowering family dynamic. And also, thank you, Bright Light, for being here with us today as well. Remember, like I always say, I don't believe in coincidences. And you, Bright Light, were meant to be here today to receive whatever message you were meant to receive from this episode. So keep showing up, keep loving on yourself, and keep making progress on your journey to becoming the phenomenal leader I know you truly are. Now, be sure to join me next week as we'll be exploring not one, but 2 more amazing topics with our special guests, pro athlete and sports pioneer turned author and motivational speaker, Krista Ford, as well as health services administrator and president and author, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. Now, both of these incredible ladies will be here with us on the show next week to explore legacy through leadership. We'll delve into the narratives of Krista Ford, embodying purpose through sports and faith, and Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, championing the art of planning for leadership succession to uncover the essence of leaving a lasting legacy through athletic prowess and strategic foresight in leadership development. Now, I know these are going to be both incredible conversations that I can't wait to explore. So I'll be sure to join me and set your reminders to be back here with me next Monday, July 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right, my beautiful, phenomenal leader, have a great week. I'll see you next Monday. Purchase my book and take care. Bye. Coming up next week on Take the Lead, a consciousness movement with Angilie Kapoor. Guests Krista Ford and Dr. Lisa L. Campbell are here to discuss legacy through leadership. Don't miss next week's episode on E360 TV.